All right, guys, this is our my first commissioner's report. This is week one. This is where I break down a couple players from everybody's team that I feel are noteworthy, that feel need to be talked about. First off, this report was brought to you by our good friends at Tricky Fish. Not really, but hopefully Keely will start paying me to drop her name as much as I already do. Let's get underway. First off, our first battle of the week will be Tommy Mack versus Jesse Boardman. Jesse's predicted to win by a lot. Let's see how it's going to go. First off, we got Tom Brady. He's playing at Buffalo. His career record against them is 20-2. He scored 51 touchdowns to get them with only 17 interceptions. Now, surprisingly, this year his average draft pick was 21.7, but his preseason ranking was 2. So we'll be surprised how it turns out. He does turn 36 this year, and he's missing his top 5 targets, including Rob Gronkowski. Unless he comes back, nobody knows yet. It's going to be a game day decision, I'm pretty sure. Next on Tommy's team is also Eddie Lacy. Now, I'm not crazy about him. He's a rookie. We'll see how it goes. Chicago last year gave up the fewest fantasy points to running backs, but he might hit double digits just because he's young, healthy, and he's going to be the only one to touch the ball. But I expect Rodgers to throw much before they really rely on him a lot. You never know, he might break out. Next, we have Jesse's team. It's Shake and Bakes. David Wilson from the Giants. Man, I'm really excited to see him. Andre Brown's hurt, and I don't want to speak too soon, but last year he did run for 100 yards and scored 2 scores at home versus New Orleans. However, they are playing in the Big Easy. Oh, shit. That's the wrong team. He's playing Dallas. Sorry, my notes are wrong. Anyways, I expect to see him hit the end zone at least once against Dallas, but they do have a pretty tough defense this year. Now, let's move on to Steve Smith. Sorry, I'm getting used to this. Last October at home versus Seattle, Smith only gained 40 yards on 4 receptions, but he was thrown the ball by Cam Newton 13 times more than anyone else on the team. So I don't look to see him do very much. Seattle's defense very tough, as always. Smith didn't do much in the preseason, but he is old, so they'll probably take it easy on him. I expect Seattle to shut him down. Prediction, the Shake and Bakes by 15 points. Next, we have Derek Coots versus Daniel Moore. Now, this is a match of the Titans. This is going to be probably the 2 most experienced veterans in our league next to Patrick. Let's go ahead and get into it. Matt Ryan, not much to say here. He's a fantasy powerhouse. I'm looking for him to get 300 touchdowns, 300-plus points. Man, he might hit 30 fantasy points this week. So who knows? I doubt for him to throw an interception. Green Bay Steelers defense, I'm definitely not crazy about them. I don't even think they're going to break even. I expect them to see negative points. They're playing San Francisco. They're not going to get a lot of picks. They're sans Charles Woodson this year. They have a very young backfield. I don't know how they're going to do. Now, San Francisco is the defending NFC champs. They're ready to come out of the gate swinging. They're pissed they lost the Super Bowl. The lights went out on them. All that bullcrap. Rodgers is still going to put up a W, I believe. I believe it'll be like a 3-point game. However, I don't look for Green Bay's defense to do a lot. It's probably going to be a very high-scoring game. Now, on to Daniel's team, the Riverside Warriors. We have Robert Griffin, 3. Now, I know we've been talking about quarterbacks. We're going to keep talking about him because Philadelphia has 0 chance of stopping him. Now, he's very injury-prone. Unless they injure him, he's going to get hurt. Now, he only averages 200 yards passing against them. Don't forget he's also a rusher. Don't forget he also rushes into the end zone. But he averages 3 touchdowns against them. So you can look for that. Next, we have D'Angelo Williams. Now, it's easy to pick on the Panthers, specialty players, especially versus Seattle's commanding defense. He earned -2 fantasy points last year against Seattle. I expect a very similar performance. What I have to say about this matchup? It's a tie, but a cool one. Just saying. Next, we're going to have myself, the Easton Panic Attacks, versus Michael Lee's Lee Street Legion. Let's start with my team. I got Ray Rice. He's playing at Denver. He's going to shine at Malhouse Stadium. Now, he didn't do much late in the season last year against them. He's probably saving up his strength for the preseason because the postseason. They knew they were going to make it. But I don't expect it this year. He has a Super Bowl ring on his finger, and it's not going to slow him down while he's turning the corners. I expect him to see the end zone at least 2 times and put up at least a buck rushing. Now, next, we got Zach Sudfield. We don't know much about him. We kind of do. He did all right last year. I'm not too crazy about him, but Gronkowski's hurt, and he's my other tight end, so I had to pick up Sudfield since Brady has to throw the ball to somebody. However, last year Buffalo only allowed 33 yards per game and 2 touchdowns to the tight ends of the opposing teams in their final 6 games. But so I'm not terribly great about him, but he might get a couple yards. He might get a little touchdown because nobody's going to be covering him. And like I said, Brady usually shines against Buffalo, so he's going to have to throw the ball to somebody. And why not Sudfeld? Next, we have Michael's Lee Street Legion. He's got Drew Brees. There's not even reason to talk to him. He's going to get talk about it. He's going to get 20-plus points. We know what he's going to do. It's not even a surprise. Now, last year, he did throw 5 picks in Atlanta. However, he's playing in the Big Easy. And it's not going to be a contest. It's just the game over. They're going to kill them. He's going to throw 5 touchdowns instead of 5 picks. We're all excited about this next young man, Tavon Austin. He's all of our home team player. We love this young man, do we not? I know we all saw that exciting 81-yard punt return. It was just very incredible. I believe that he's going to make Bradford look like the elite young quarterback that we all expect him to become one day. I'm hoping about 8 catches. I'm expecting about 8 catches. I hope he freaking fumbles the ball out a million times because it's against me. 75 yards, probably 2 scores to be honest. I'm not sure if he's running back punts. I didn't look into that, but I'm assuming he's going to be the starting punt returner. And if so, he might go ahead and sneak one past that lacks defense. So the finale, myself by 1 point. Sorry, Mike. Next, we have the other half of the newlywed equation, Mandar. Now, she's Mandar versus Kenny Kersey, also of Charleston, West Virginia. Now, Darren Sproles. Now, Breeze is, that's the wrong picture. Why is he wearing that jersey? Anyways, Breeze is going to be targeting him as a running back in the league. For the past 3 years, he has a league-high 280 targets as a running back. So he offers a unique advantage as not to our only female owner. This is not a PPR league, but he will get more touches for more yards and eventually more scores. Moving on, we have Marcus Colston. Wait, that was the wrong picture. I was thinking about Colston. Sorry. We're going to now, he has been having this lingering foot problem since training camp and carried over into the preseason. So it probably would have kept most owners from drafting, especially in the 4th round. Mandy. But let's hope this pans out for Mrs. Withrow. Let's go ahead and move on to our brother, Kenny Kersey. Cam Newton. Can't complain about him. Good-looking young man. Sharp dresser. Now, I told you about how badly Seattle's defense is going to shut down their offense. However, he's still going to get a passing touchdown, maybe 2, and he's going to run at least 1 in as well. So I love the fact that he calls signals for Mandy's favorite team, and he's going to have to score 20 points against her to beat her. At least 25. You're going to look for 25, Kenny. Next, we have Eric Decker, another sharp-dressed young man with a beautiful lady in the background with him. Now, Welker's in the equation, so I don't expect to see him score too much. Now, he did get 13 touchdowns last year, and he looked great against Baltimore. He might get open with the D focusing on Welker, but I don't expect him to score too much. Maybe once, maybe 50, 60 yards, maybe a little cross route or something like that, but nothing too crazy. The D is going to be focusing on Welker, though, so you never know. Final, Team Burdett by 1. Next, moving on, we have the Wieners Daily versus Patrick Lewis, our other super veteran. Now, I am loving Patrick's chances of beating Wieners Daily. Ha, ha, ha. I didn't deliver that joke very well. So, Wieners. Brandon, he's got Andre Johnson playing at San Diego. Now, he's 32 and still one of the best, especially early on in the season. Now, the Chargers finished 31st in total offense last year, meaning their defense is going to be on the field all the time, leaving them too tired to cover Johnson, especially late in the game. I look for him to get about 2 scores out of this game. Now, Jaquise Rogers will quiz on your face. That's pretty funny. Now, they're playing in New Orleans, so I don't have much to say here. You probably shouldn't own him. You probably shouldn't start him. And even if you had to and you had a gun to your head, I definitely wouldn't have him in your second wide receiver slot. I have him in a flex at best. If they're playing against someone terrible, Atlanta's not terrible. I don't look for him to do too much. Not to mention, Brandon, you got Michael Bush on your bench. He's a solid goal line back. I would, probably put him in instead of him. You still have time. Moving on to Patrick's team, Adrian Peterson. You motherfucker auto-drafted the first-round pick and got Adrian Peterson. Whatever. Next, the Browns D. They might they might do all right in Miami. I mean, come on, Ryan Tannehill. Come on, they're going to sack him a few times. They're definitely going to pick his ass off. Uh, um, Miami's defense. Miami's defense is going to be on the field the whole time, giving the Browns D plenty of time to rest and sack the crap out of Miami's offense. I think I said that backwards. Anyways, they're going to get a couple picks and a couple sacks. Final score. Sorry, Brandon. Patrick by 20. Next, moving on, we have a pair of young men that graduated together from high school. They played football together. They know each other very well. We have Steven Ransbottom versus Daniel Burke. Alaska versus Texas, the two biggest states in the union and two of the biggest egos in this league. So, first off, let's start with Ransbottom. Larry Fitzgerald, solid, out of Pittsburgh. We've seen him play in Morgantown. We've seen him run all over us. So he was terrible last year, but now he's got Carlson Palmer, so I look for him to do a little bit more. Now, the Rams' defense was ninth in the league last year in allowing wide receivers fantasy points. And they might do the same again this year, but he was looking great versus the Cowboys in the preseason. Cowboys' defense is pretty good, but Fitzgerald was looking pretty good against them. I look for him to get close to a buck with one touchdown. Next, James Jones. Now, this is one of the two rookie mistakes I believe Stevens made. First, you pick from your favorite team, which I am guilty of. I always pick Tony Romo. And second, you pick two wide receivers from the same team. Now, while you can argue, there's arguments for that. However, one is probably going to do great, and one is probably going to do okay. So, anyways, James Jones is not going to do great this year. Anyways, the chances are Rodgers is barely going to get to this young man this week. He did have 14 touchdowns last year, but I doubt he's going to cross the goal line. This Sunday, I look for him to get under 7 points. If he crosses double digits, I would be surprised. Now let's move on to the Pittsburgh Steelers, owned by Daniel Burke. First off, Russell motherfucking Wilson. He's a classic. He's a sophomore. He's going to look great this year. Is he a sophomore or junior? I don't know. I forget. Anyways, Carolina's D has absolutely no chance of stopping this young man, especially since he will basically be charged. They will basically be charged rent for being on the field the entire game. Wilson was 11th. Carolina's D was 11th in allowing quarterback fantasy points, but I doubt this is actually going to happen this week. I look for Wilson to hit the end zone or hit his receivers or running backs in the end zone at least 3 times for probably over 250 yards easily, probably over 300. Carolina has no chance of stopping him. Next, Daniel Martellus Bennett. Daniel got rid of him. So should you. I mean, Dallas, Texas got rid of this young man. You should drop him. He's terrible. I'm looking for 1 to 2 catches on maybe 4 targets. He's probably going to drop the ball, man. He's not even going to get you 3 points. Sorry about that. Bottom line, final, Steve Ransbottom by 6 points. Having said that, this is your Commissioner's Report to the Week, brought to you by Tricky Fish. As always, wait, what's my line? Oh, it might be fantasy football, but it's still real. Thanks a lot, guys.
With the world.